Yeah, they're coming. They're just moving slowly.
Don't get hard.
Yep.
Okay. So I'm on the front side. My name is Andrew Scott, and we will be discussing our proposition, which is to raise the driving age to 18. So this brings us to our significant claim that too many teen drivers who have not reached full maturity cause car accidents, injuries, and death. Our subclaim is that teen drivers, particularly 16-year-olds, are responsible for more fatality and injury accidents than any other group. According to the California DMV, 61 out of 1,000 drivers aged 16 have been involved in a fatality or injury accident, compared to only 45 out of every 1,000 18-year-olds. In addition, the Center for Disease Control and Prevention says that young people aged 15 to 24 represent only 14% of the U.S. population. However, they account for 30% of the total cost of motor vehicle injuries among males and 28% among females. Also, according to Robert Davis of USA Today, already on average, 2 people die every day across the United States in vehicles driven by 16-year-olds. 1 in 5 16-year-olds will have a reportable car crash within the first year. So this brings me to my second point, that teenagers, again, particularly 16-year-olds, have not reached full emotional maturity and pose a risk behind the wheels. According to Liz Weston, a writer for MSN Money, research indicates that important mental functions such as reasoning, self-control, judgment, and emotional regulation often don't mature until the late teens. In addition, Robert Davis of USA Today says that scientists at the NIH campus have found that this vital area develops through the teenage years and isn't fully mature until age 25. One 16-year-old's brain might be more developed than another 18-year-old's, just as younger teens might be taller than older ones. But evidence is mounting that 16-year-olds' brains are generally far less developed than those of teens just a little bit older. This brings me to my third point, that maturity rather than experience is what makes 16-year-old drivers so risky. Again, according to Robert Davis, most states have focused their fixes on giving teens more driving experience before granting them unrestricted licenses. But the new brain research suggests that a separate factor is just as crucial, maturity. A new 17 or 18-year-old driver is considered safer than a new 16-year-old driver. Now onto my inherency claim, which is that allowing the driving age to begin at 16 years old creates issues in regard to auto insurance and teen curfew laws. My first subclaim is that 16-year-old drivers with the freedom to go where they please are more likely to stay out past past city and parent-established curfews. I'm going to cite an example of the city of Dallas. It says, the city of Dallas had collected data showing, among other things, that juvenile delinquency increased proportionally between the ages of 10 and 16. At the time during which murders by juveniles are most frequent was between 10 p.m. and 1 a.m., and that these murders often occurred in apartments, parking lots, streets, and highways, and that 31% of the robberies occurred on public streets and highways. This brings me to my second point, that many 16-year-old drivers cannot afford high insurance rates levied on beginning drivers, and therefore they just drive uninsured. According to Liz Weston, a couple in San Diego, for example, would have paid an average of $2,324 annually for their auto insurance before adding their teenage son to the policy, when after they would be paying $4,562, which is a 96% increase. So this means that many 16-year-olds cannot afford insurance and therefore drive uninsured. This brings me to my third point, that the current driving age of 16 means higher insurance rates for all motorists. According to Superior Car Insurance, insurance is a concept based on the idea of sharing expenses among a group of individuals. Motor vehicle crashes are the leading cause of death for teenagers. That factor naturally translates into higher rates for youthful drivers. Therefore, if the driving age was raised to 18, auto insurance rates would be lower for all drivers. Now to my solvency claim, that raising the driving age to 18 in the United States would decrease accidents and dangers to others on the road. My first point is that 18-year-old drivers on average are more mature and responsible than 16-year-old drivers. As I've explained earlier, and as Michael Hagstrom, who created the child development stages chart, 16-year-olds are far less mature than 18-year-olds. That's my second point, that a two-year graduated driver's license system would allow teens to learn how to drive with a supervising adult in the car before they become 18. Therefore, they can get more experience without having to drive alone, which will lead to less car accidents and deaths. And in a quote by Anne McCartney, who's the Senior Vice President of Research at the Institute of Highway Safety, graduated licensing has become successful ever since states began to adopt these programs more than a decade ago. And raising the licensing age is a logical next step to reduce driving by the riskiest motorists on the road, the youngest ones. One more point is that countries outside the United States have had 18 as the driving age for many years with great success. One example would be the Australian state of Victoria, which decided to keep its driving age at 18 after research estimated that lowering it to 17 or 16 would result in hundreds of additional crashes, even if a graduated license program were adopted. My final example is that New Jersey is a perfect example of the benefits that raising the driving age could have here in the United States. In New Jersey, here's the New Jersey example. Among U.S. states, only New Jersey holds off licensure until age 17. And a recent analysis of the crash experience of young drivers indicates the benefits. A rate of 4.4 16-year-old drivers per 100,000 were in fatal crashes during the study, compared to 20.7 out of 100,000 in neighboring Connecticut, where 16-year-olds could get their license. The lower death rate in New Jersey was offset by a slightly higher rate at age 17, but the combined rate for 16 and 17-year-olds was still much lower than Connecticut. So that was my affirmative on our proposition that the driving age should be raised to 18. Thank you.